Have you ever been made to feel like you were completely invisible? Like you're just a ghost in the machine, your presence noted only by the empty space you leave behind? It's a painful feeling, one that millions of domestic workers and service employees swallow every single day. But what if I told you that this invisibility is a lie? What if, in reality, it's a position of unique and profound power? This is a story that challenges everything you think you know about the quiet person who cleans your office. It's a story that most corporations would pay a fortune to keep buried. A true story of how the most vulnerable person in a multi-million-dollar company became the most powerful. It involves a secret password, confidential files, and a decision that would change hundreds of lives. We're often told to keep our heads down and do our jobs, to not make waves. But this story proves that sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is to follow that advice. We're about to dive into a human drama of corporate greed and silent courage. This isn't just another immigrant story. It's a masterclass in how to find your voice when the whole world is counting on your silence. You're about to learn how one woman, armed with nothing but her observation and a massive dose of courage, exposed a devastating secret. The secret was protected by a password, and the password was his birthday. You know, there's a whole world of real-life drama that plays out in the quietest of places. Think about it. While most folks are hustling through their 9 to 5, there's an army of domestic workers who see everything, yet remain unseen. They are the silent witnesses to the secrets of our daily lives, and their storytelling potential is just immense. This is where our most powerful inspirational tales are born, not in boardrooms, but in the quiet hum of an empty office after hours. Let's talk about Maria. She was one of those working-class heroes, a cleaner in a gleaming glass and steel tower. Every night, like clockwork, she'd push her cart through the same corridors, her movements a silent dance of efficiency. To the executives who left their crumbs and coffee stains, she was just part of the background, a ghost in the machine. But here's the thing about people like Maria. Their invisibility is their superpower. It allows them to see the truth everyone else is too busy to notice. Now, if you ever find yourself feeling invisible in your own life, don't see it as a weakness. See it as a position of unique observation. Think of the security guard who knows the building's nightly rhythms, or the delivery driver who knows which houses have the friendliest dogs. Start paying attention to the small details others miss. What patterns do you see? What unspoken truths are hiding in plain sight? This is the first step in any great human drama, becoming a master observer of your own environment. Maria's life was a tapestry of these small observations. She knew who worked late, who was stressed by the crumpled papers in their bin, and who had a family by the photos on their desk. She lived 1,000 immigrant stories of sacrifice, sending money back home, dreaming of a better future for her son. Her reality was a masterclass in resilience, a silent life lesson in dignity and hard work that most people would simply walk past without a second glance. But even the most predictable routines can be shattered in a single moment. For Maria, that moment was coming, and it would challenge everything she thought she knew about the people she worked for, and about her own power in that silent, empty space. Well, that moment arrived on a rainy Tuesday night. Maria was cleaning the office of Mr. Harrington, the intimidating CFO, when she saw it. His computer monitor was still on, casting a pale blue glow in the darkroom. A dialog box was blinking insistently in the center of the screen. Password expired. Please create a new password. Now, this is where most emotional stories find their spark, in a simple, unplanned glitch. Maria knew the rules. She was supposed to never touch the computers. But the blinking box was like a silent alarm. If she didn't do something, the IT ticket would point directly to her cleaning shift. She felt a knot tighten in her stomach. This was a problem she didn't ask for, a classic twist in the real life of those who serve. It's in these moments that the universe tests the mettle of the working class, presenting a puzzle wrapped in a risk. So, what do you do when you face an unexpected problem that isn't technically yours to solve? Most people freeze, afraid of overstepping. But the ones who become the heroes of their own inspirational tales lean on their powers of observation. They don't panic. They take a mental step back and survey what they know. Maria did just that. She looked around the office for clues, just like you might look at a challenging situation in your own life from a different angle. Her eyes scanned the desk. The The fancy pen set, the legal pads, the framed photo of his luxury yacht, and then a small, ornate calendar with one date circled in red. It was tomorrow's date, with the words "board meeting, do or die" scribbled next to it. But that wasn't the clue she needed. She needed something more personal, something that would reveal the man behind the title. And that's when her eyes drifted back to that framed photo. But this time, she noticed the small engraving on the frame itself. The engraving on the photo frame was a gift inscription. To Dad, love on your birthday, 10 to 15. October 15th. A long shot for sure. But in the high-stakes human drama unfolding in that quiet office, long shots are all you sometimes have. With a trembling hand, she reached for the keyboard. This wasn't just about a password. It was a line being crossed, a veil of invisibility being pulled back. The tension in these true stories is always about the choice, not the action. She typed 1015 into the new password field. Nothing. Her heart sank. Then, she tried Harrington 1015. The box shook. Password must contain a special character. This was it, the final hurdle. She added an exclamation point, a symbol of the shock she was feeling. Harrington 1015. The screen blinked, accepted the new password, and the desktop loaded, revealing rows of confidential files. She was in. The sheer vulnerability of it was staggering, a powerful life lesson in security and arrogance. Now, let's be clear, this isn't a lesson in hacking. It's a lesson in human nature. People are creatures of habit. They use birthdays, anniversaries, pet names. They write them down. In your own life, whether it's a password or a personal goal, the key is often simpler than you think. Are you overcomplicating your solutions? Look for the obvious, the personal, the thing that matters most to the heart of the problem. Maria's access was a fluke, but it was born from paying attention to the details everyone else ignores. One file was named Project Phoenix, Final Layoff List.pdf. Her breath caught in her throat. Layoffs. The company was posting record profits. This was the secret, the truth hidden behind the smiling photos and the corporate newsletters. This was the moment the inspirational journey turned into a moral crisis. She had accessed this information by chance, but now that she had it, what was she supposed to do with it? The weight of that knowledge settled on her shoulders, heavy and terrifying. Overnight, Maria's world had changed. The silent corridors of the office now felt accusatory. Every time she saw a coworker, a security guard named Leo, a fellow cleaner named Eva, she felt the secret burning inside her. These were good people, hardworking people with families, just like her. Their immigrant stories were stories of hope, not of being discarded without warning. This is the true burden in any human drama, knowledge without a clear path to action. She couldn't sleep. The hum of the city outside her small apartment was now the hum of her own anxiety. Should she anonymously leak the file? Warn her friends? But how could she explain how she got it? The very act that revealed the truth could also destroy her. This is a feeling so many in the working class know intimately. Being trapped by a system, knowing an injustice, but feeling powerless to speak up for fear of the consequences. It's a silent battle that rages in the soul. So, what's the practical takeaway when you're paralyzed by a difficult truth? You break it down. You don't look at the mountain. You look for the first step. Maria started by asking herself simple, brutal questions. What is the absolute worst thing that could happen if I act? What is the worst thing that will happen if I don't? Who, besides me, will be affected? Grab a pen and paper right now and try this with a problem you're facing. You'll be shocked how it clarifies your mind. For Maria, the answer was clear. Inaction meant dozens of families would be blindsided, their lives upended right before the holidays. Their real-life struggles were being treated as a line item on a spreadsheet. The cold, calculated nature of that file, Project Phoenix, was a betrayal of the very people who built the company. The password might have been his birthday, but the secret she now held was a ticking time bomb, and the fuse was getting shorter every day. The moment of decision came in the break room. She saw her friend Eva, laughing about how she was finally going to buy her daughter the bicycle she'd been saving up for. That laugh, full of hope and pride, was the final push Maria needed. She couldn't let that hope be crushed. This is where inspirational turns into actionable. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the conviction that something else is more important than fear. She didn't have a grand plan. She just knew she had to get the information to someone who could do something, without exposing herself. She thought of the one executive who always looked people in the eye, the one who had a small, worn-out Family First plaque on his desk, Mr. Evans, the head of HR. It was another risk, but a calculated one. In your own life, when you need to act, identify your Mr. Evans, the person with both the power and the heart to understand. It changes everything. The next day, she printed the layoff list. Her hands were ice cold. She placed the single sheet of paper in a blank envelope, and just before the morning rush, she slipped it under Mr. Evans's office door. There was no going back. The deed was done. The storytelling here is crucial. The most powerful acts are often quiet, unseen, and driven by a deep sense of what's right, not by a desire for glory. She was terrified, but for the first time in days, she could breathe. She spent the rest of her shift waiting for the sirens, for the confrontation, for the tap on the shoulder. But nothing happened. The office buzzed with its usual energy, completely unaware of the silent earthquake that had just taken place. The waiting was its own kind of torture. Had she been caught on a camera she didn't know about? Did Evans go straight to Harrington? The silence was deafening, and the outcome was a terrifying mystery. A week later, a company-wide email popped up. The subject line, an important announcement from leadership. Maria's blood ran cold. This was it. But as she read, her confusion grew. The email announced that, due to re-evaluated strategic priorities, Project Phoenix was canceled. Furthermore, the company was implementing a new profit-sharing program to reward the hard-working backbone of our organization. It was a stunning reversal. The true stories that really matter are the ones where integrity, even from the most unexpected place, creates a ripple of positive change. She never found out exactly what happened in those closed-door meetings. But a few days later, Mr. Evans sought her out. He didn't say a word about the envelope. He just looked at her, gave a slight, knowing nod, and said, "Thank you for everything you do for this company, Maria. Your dedication does not go unnoticed." It was a quiet victory, the kind that never makes the news but changes lives forever. It was the life lesson she'd carry with her always, that everyone, no matter their title, has the power to make a difference. The real beauty of this human drama is its ripple effect. That single act of courage didn't just save jobs, it restored faith. It proved that the system wasn't entirely broken. So, I want you to ask yourself, where in your life are you seeing an injustice, big or small? Where can you be the ripple? It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It can be speaking up in a meeting, defending a coworker, or simply refusing to participate in a harmful rumor. Your voice matters. Maria remained a cleaner. She still pushed her cart through the silent offices. But she was never invisible again, not to herself. She had looked power in the eye and didn't blink. And that, my friend, is the most powerful inspirational story of all. The story of an ordinary person who discovered their own extraordinary strength. And that's a story that's happening all around us, in the lives of the domestic workers, the drivers, the caregivers, if only we care to look. So, what's the password to your own cage? What's the simple, obvious thing, the birthday, that you've been overlooking, that's keeping you locked in a situation that doesn't serve you or the people you care about? Is it a fear of speaking up? A belief that you're not important enough to make a difference? Maria's story is your permission slip to change that narrative, starting today. I want you to get honest with yourself. Where in your life are you playing small? Where are you accepting being invisible? And more importantly, what one small act of courage can you take this week to change that? Maybe it's having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's applying for that job you think you're not qualified for. Or maybe it's simply acknowledging the Marias in your own world and letting them know they are seen. Tell me in the comments, what is one small way you will choose to be seen this week? The world doesn't change with giant leaps. It changes with small, consistent steps of courage, just like Maria's. If this story resonated with you, if it made you feel something and maybe even think a little differently, then you're exactly who we're creating this channel for. We find these powerful emotional stories to remind you of the power you already hold. Don't let this be the last story that empowers you. We are a community here. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because we have so many more untold stories of dignity, courage, and the invisible hands that shape our world. Your next dose of inspiration is just one click away.